Bengal actually. In the context of sports being traditionally perceived as the domain of men, this research holds significant importance in challenging gender norms. Within India, women's sports don't always get the attention they deserve, especially in places like West Bengal. By delving into the inspiration driving women to engage in sports as well as the hurdles they encounter, the research provides valuable insights. It also checks how many women from West Bengal take part in the Olympics and identify underlying barriers. By the shedding light on these dynamics, the research not only advances our understanding of women's sports participation, but also contributes to promoting inclusivity and gender equality within the sporting arena. These are the objectives of my study: bringing attention to the underrepresented topic, increasing awareness regarding women's involvement in sports over time, examining the current state of sports culture and its significance to the citizens, investigating the factors contributing to the low representation of women from West Bengal in the Olympics. I have applied qualitative research methodology for my research work. I utilized open-ended questionnaires to allow for comprehensive responses, conducted in-depth interviews to delve deeper into perspectives and experiences, incorporated with primary and secondary data sources for comprehensive analysis. These are the limitations of the study, as Ovijit sir mentioned that I am working as a superintendent in a protection home. When I applied for MPhil and I was doing MPhil, that time also I was working because I am the fourth girl child in my family and I have the responsibility of my parents. So they are now comes at an old age, so I have a family to feed. That's why I couldn't resign from my job. So I got very less time to complete my MPhil dissertation. Ashish sir was my guide and he knows it very well. So mainly the limitations of my study is the focus is limited to the Olympic Games. Though I had an idea, I tried to, I wanted to do diverse work on sports, in women in sports, but I couldn't get that time. The study primarily examines women's participation in sports, potentially overlooking other gender dynamics. The emphasis on participation from West Bengal only, the participation of other states has been shown in a comparative way. Women in the history of Olympics. There is a belief that Greece is the birthplace of Olympics. The Greeks were very sports-loving people. During holidays, they practiced running, wrestling, boxing, and some such sports. A common feature of any religious event was athletics. In ancient Greece, the status of women was not equal to that of men. Grecian women were excluded from the ancient Olympic Games as both spectators and participants. While the men's Olympics were held, women were prohibited from entering Olympia. At Olympia, it was ruled that no woman could cross the Alpheus River from a week before the game began and for several days after the games. It was so strict that it was decreed that all women who sneaked into the Olympics races or dared to cross the river on the forbidden day were thrown from the rock Typion, which is near Olympia. As per Pausanias, women were allowed to organize their own games similar to Olympic Games for men. But I doubt if it is called as Olympic, because in his writing somewhere it is mentioned that the festival which women organized held once every 4 years and was held a few weeks after the men's games. It was known as Heria. It is not Olympic. A foot race type of sports competition was organized for girls. No record has been found of when the women's game began or how long it lasted. So I can bet it that These sports is not at all Olympic. Women were not in the ancient Olympic. Only men's were there. A copy of a statue of a Greek female runner from the 5th century BC is in the Vatican, which proves that they had a game like I mentioned foot race type of competition, but we cannot call it Olympic. Here is the chart of gender-based participation in post-independence era. It is the participation of across the world. You can see in London 1948 Olympic, there are very less participation of women according that of men, and gradually it increased over the time. And in Tokyo 2020 Olympic, almost same participation we can see here, almost equal participation. Here is the rate of the participation of women in Olympic. In 1948, 10% women participated, whereas in 2020 Tokyo Olympic, 49% women participated in the Olympic. Now I am presenting the state-wise participation data. I am presenting here 2000 Sydney Olympic because before that we don't have any record in any website, any portal of state-wise participation. That's why I am mentioning it from 2000 Sydney Olympic. A total number of 19 women participated in the 2000 Sydney Olympics. West Bengal, Kerala and Maharashtra are among the states that send most women players. And among the states sending least number of women players are Manipur, Haryana, Punjab with a total of 6 states. Please notice the name of the states where West Bengal is here number 1. And gradually we will see how West Bengal decrease and other states overtake West Bengal. In 2004 Athens Olympic, 25 women participated from 9 states. Here also West Bengal and Kerala are the states that send the most women players, while Haryana, Manipur are the least sending states. In 2008 Beijing Olympic, Haryana and Manipur have overtaken West Bengal. West Bengal ranked 5th in sending women athletes in the Olympic. In 2012 London Olympic, 23 women participated. Haryana again sent the maximum number of women participants. Manipur is in 2nd place. West Bengal ranked 7th in the list. 2016 Rio Olympic saw the largest participation of Indian women. A total of 55 women participated in the Olympics. The highest number of women are from Haryana, and West Bengal again ranked 7th. The most states participate in the 2020 Tokyo, we all know that. Out of the total 17 states, Haryana has 18 women athletes participating in the Olympics, and from West Bengal we have only 2. So this is the data, and this is the this is the transaction of decreation of West Bengal. I don't know what is the reason. Actually this data striked on my mind that what is the reason behind it. Haryana is going to the number 1, but West Bengal is going back. The West Bengal actually consistently sending 3 or 4 or 2 women participants in the Olympic. But what is the reason behind it? I tried to find out. Here is some of the name of the women Olympians who actually won medals. Karna Maleswari, Saina Nehwal, Mary Kom, P.V. Sindhu, Sakshi Malik, Mirabai Chanu, Lovelina Borgohain and P.V. Sandhu. I have collected data from websites of International Olympic Committee, Bengal Olympic Committee, articles, journals, books and Wikipedia. I also have conducted interviews with a diverse group of individuals such as technical officers of the Sports Authority of India, renowned women Olympians, established sports trainers and current female athletes aged 18 to 25. These are some of the pictures where I was taking interviews of the Olympians and the technical officers of Sports Authority of India. So here I have mentioned some of the reasons where most of the respondents have agreed that these are the problem of the low participation of West Bengal. 24 respondents cited poor infrastructure as a major factor contributing to the low participation of women from West Bengal in Olympic. 28, I actually conducted with 30 respondents. Out of 30, 28 of the respondents identified financial crisis as a significant barrier to women's participation in sports. 23 of the respondents noted that sports is often considered a secondary or optional subject in West Bengal. We all know that the earlier sessions has already mentioned it, that sports in schools is not only for celebrating an annual sports day. There is no sports at all. Even I have studied in a girls' school where I came to know about some of the sports in only sports day. There is no other sports. In spite of that, we actually were learned about needlework or sometimes PT class to be fit or have good figure, but not any sports in school. So this is also a reason of low participation of West Bengal. 20 of the respondents highlighted the absence of job opportunities through sports quotas in West Bengal as a demotivating factor for women. Of course, those women who are struggling a lot, who are facing a lot of challenges in sports field, if they don't get any reward, if they don't get any job, then why they would continue? 17 of the respondents mentioned concern related to sexual harassment and blackmail as deterrent on to women's participation. Of course, it exists in every spheres of women's life. So it's not only about sports, but we face it everywhere. So that is also a reason. 6 of the respondents expressed concerns about women's health issues and the possibility of falling ill as reasons for low participation. Here, health issues is also included the time of pregnancy, the time of conceive of a child. This is also a reason where women drop out from sports. I have mentioned some of the recommendations which is also taken from the respondents. Provide opportunities for coaches to receive training abroad to enhance their skills and knowledge. Of course, when a woman is going to play Olympic or going to play any international tournaments, they see that their skills, their knowledge of training is very less than the participants of other countries. So coaches need to receive training abroad to enhance their skills. Allocate greater resources and attention to sports programs at the school level to foster early interest and talent development, which I have already mentioned. Offer financial support such as stipends to players from economically disadvantaged backgrounds to alleviate financial barriers to participation. That is what I myself faced. My father totally disagreed to bear my expenses. So if I get stipend, maybe it would be a little bit easier for me. Implement anti-sexual harassment committees in every training center and ensure safe environment for athletics. Create job opportunities for players at different skill levels to provide them with career prospects and motivate them for continued participation. I have mentioned very few of the references here. Actually, I have worked a lot on the books and the articles. So this is all about my research work. If there is any question, you can ask. Oh, okay.
I think it is a nice presentation by Sima. So she presented on the sports participation in Olympic from the context of West Bengal, and she had tried to find out the underlying challenges in participation and started with her lived experience regarding participation barrier in sport.
The title of my paper is Women's Cricket and Fan Culture in India, Issues in Representation. So to begin with, I would like to start with an anecdote. In 1963, there was a match happening between the cricket journalists and the In 1963, there used to be a match. There was a match happening between the veteran cricketers who turned out to be journalists at some point of time and the women cricketers. So during the match, Brian Stoddard asked Lane Hutton that, what do you think about women's playing cricket? So according to Brian Johnston, so Lane Hutton gave him a funny look and said, it's like men trying to knit, isn't it? So why I'm started with this anecdote is that even though the idea of Victorian cricket, which was completely different from its predecessors, Gregorian ideal of cricket, the Victorian idea of cricket has tried to turn cricket into a men's only sports, they always forgot about some of the facts and figures that how women have helped either in development of the sports of the game and also have some important victories over men in some cases, like the 1973 was the first time when Women's Cricket World Cup has happened, 2 years prior to the Men's Cricket World Cup. So last year was the 50th anniversary of first ever Cricket World Cup. But if you look at the media representation of it, you don't find much of that compared to the Men's Cricket World Cup. And the first 200 double hundred was scored by Belinda Clark 13 years before Sachin Tendulkar did in men's cricket. And most importantly, the overarm bowling, which turned out to be another woman. She used to be the sister of cricketer John Wills, who find it very difficult to bowl underarm in a long skirt. So she tried to bowl overarm, and from that thing, John Wills picked up. So all these things, the Victorian identity of cricket, which tried to put cricket on a men's only sports and make it a sanctum sanctorium for the men's cricketers, have not taken care in account into. In recent times, there have been a lot of discussions about women's sports fan culture, and who have been talking about like how women sports spectators have been taken into consideration when watching games, which also turn out to be a male purview. But in today's discussion, I would like to focus on how spectators have looked into women's sports, specifically women's cricket in India, in the 21st century. But at the same time, I will also take some instances from the earlier centuries as well. But in my discussion today, I would focus on two things. First, how fans and media, both on print media and on social media, have looked into women's cricket. And the second thing was how BCCI, as the representative of the cricket in India, have taken into consideration of women's cricket, and being the richest board of all the boards they have, how they have taken into consideration the issues of women cricket. But to begin with, again, I would like to go back some history of how women's cricket in India has developed. If you look at this picture, this was the picture. This was a photograph of 2020 Cricket World Cup when Australia and India faced off in the Melbourne Cricket Ground, and prior to the World Cup final, Melbourne Cricket Ground decided to create an all-around record of the highest spectators in any women's global sporting event. That was be the 90,000 plus, but the official attendance was 86,000 plus, which turned out to be the highest in any cricket event, women's cricket event. So the first instance, though there have been first instances of women's cricket in Bombay in late 19th century, there also have been instances of cricket like cricket in places like Madras, or even Kolkata, Delhi and Kanpur, Peshawar as well. All these cricket matches have played on a recreational purpose. It was not kind of institutionalized like we see today. It was played between the women cricketers versus their husbands or partners, and it was basically played on the recreational purpose on a holiday, or even when they're having picnic and all. even the most important thing was that in most of those matches, the women cricketers have defeated male cricketers, and when male cricketers have been defeated, they have been given excuses like, oh, they are the women cricketers, we didn't took them seriously, or we played in a left-handed style, so that's why the women cricketers have defeated us. If you look at the first photograph, this was it was published in 1934, and in a cricket tour was organized under Bengal's Cricket Association, but the tour was not continued because of the deficit of funds. And the second article was published that was focusing, that is stating that besides women cricket was developing in England and Australia, a significant number of matches have been in India. And the third picture, the third image, was taken from a Bengali periodicals called Probortok, and this says, apart from the picture of two women cricketers, this says that they have defeated the military sites in Bombay and Delhi, and the author hopes that the same precedence is taken into consideration while in Calcutta as well. And this image was one of the article that came out in 1936. It was a Baliganj Cricket Club, and the match happened between the male and the female side. And the next photograph was from Gujarat, where a women's cricketer is playing cricket in a male attire in her college. So while this was happening prior to the Indian independence, and this was much more in a more organized sector, Indian women's cricket got its first organization in 1973 when Mahendra Kumar Sharma has created Women's Cricket Association, and then he tried to pull out several other competitions as well, and then he applied for the recognition from the International Cricket Board. 1975 was the event declared 1975 as the International Year of Women, and that year one Australian under-25 team travelled India for the first time. This was the managerial account of that tour, and the title is Ice Cream with Chili Powder. So the manager Betty Butcher in all of this managerial account has said that how all those places they have travelled they have been engraced with lot of spectators, and the associations, they are not destined to visit. They have also came across and asked them to travel on all those places as well, so that they can also witness an Australian women's side playing cricket. And when talking about playing playing a test match in Calcutta, Betty Butcher argues that even on the weekdays, the spectators were around 30 to 35,000, and even after the matches, they used to try to garland the players. They crowded the bus, and even in last day of the match, when test match was drawn, the situation went out of her hand, and the Australian under-25 player have to went to the hotel with inside a police van, so that they get the protection from the fans. Now, if you look at these three photographs, the first one is of 1975, that series, Australia series. It says that Catherine Garlick was an Australian wicketkeeper. She scored 125, and after she scored her century, one of the spectators jumped the fence and went to her to garland Catherine Garlick. And then the second article was from the couple of days later, which says that it was a close fought contest, and the match ended in excitement. Even several other spectators also went into the field to congratulate all the players. And the last article was from 1976, when India women's cricket team had their first test victory over West Indies, and the excitement was so much that even spectators had to fight with the CRPF present in the ground when the spectators tried to enter the ground to congratulate the players. So why I have showed all these things, it's that contrary to present belief that in the earlier times women's cricket was not being covered in a much greater number, or there was not so much support from the spectators, it was quite a huge number that the matches were played under spectatorship, or even though not it was less compared to the men's game, the number was quite huge if we take into the consideration of that later time of 1990s and 1980s. Now, even in 2006, when BCCI took charge of Indian women's cricket, and as it has to be done by the ICC, that ICC told that no country can have two separate boards, and it has to be done under the aegis of one board. One can argue that the money flow and the facilities of women cricket have been increased compared to the previous time. But there is another thing we need to look at, that compared to the men's, BCCI have always prioritized the men's cricket compared to the women's cricket. Women's cricket, the number of matches women's team played was getting lesser day by day compared to when it was under the Women's Cricket Association of India. They have played less number of test match cricket, they have played less number of one-day matches even compared to the other countries like Australia or England. When Mithali Raj led a side in 2014, in India went on to play after 8 years, and they won a test match in Walmsley, England. Mithali Raj then hoped that as we have won the series, now we can expect a central contract from BCCI, because there was no central contract even after BCCI have taken charge of women's cricket after 8 years, since 2006. Since 2006, Indian women's cricket team have not lost a single test match in either home or away. But even if I look, compared to the men's cricket side, there the number of the number of match fees have been equal recent times, but the central contract has been almost 1/10 of it. In 2016, Subhangi Kulkarni published a report to look forward regarding women's cricket, that it was called Vision 2020, but again BCCI paid no heed to it. Through all these structural flaws, then it came about the COVID happened in 2020. We can see that though after the effect of COVID was withering away, the men's cricket was going on a full fledged, but women's cricket, it was always said that it's not safe for the women players to go out. So the women's one after one women's international series was cancelled, and then even it was even said that there was no proper communication from the BCCI to the women's cricketers. Even when one mother of one cricketer died, she even went on to Twitter and said there has been no communication from the BCCI, which is unthinkable in case of the men's cricket side. India went on to win one runners-up in 2020 World Cup, T20 World Cup. Even after 3 years, in 2023, the prize money was sent to the BCCI, but BCCI didn't even distributed that. It's after that one of the journalists from England, Isabel Westbury, took out Twitter and tweeted about that. Then after some of days, BCCI announced that they will deliver the prize money. There have been also been talk about that there have been a lot of dearth about in Indian women's cricket establishment. That's why they cannot held women's IPL in couple of years back. But then again, we can see how many cricketers have been playing in WPL and how developed they are while playing one of the greatest women's league they are playing. In 2021, the then BCCI President Sourav Ganguly said that, talking about her own child, that মেয়েদের cricket খেলা দরকার নেই, অর্থাৎ the girls don't need to play cricket. So though he was referring to his own daughter, it came out as a collective that somewhat turned out to be kind of create a negative impact on the women's cricket. Now, when all those BCCI's negativity and look how women's cricket have been turned out into a second fiddle to the male cricketers, fans always kind of sided with BCCI on most of the cases. They have always said that the first perform and first win a World Cup and first perform, then we can talk about the same salary and same pay, something like that. That was Mithali Raj once more test and central contract, and after completing victory they got the central contract. And the COVID effect, BCCI pulls out day after day cancel the women's cricket tournaments, but at the same time they continued with IPL. So now, if BCCI has looked into their women's cricket in this regard, I would like to show how fans have responded, or how fans have seen women's cricket and how they have responded to that. First and foremost, one thing that need to be reminded of, that to the public, that the image of women's cricket have always been as kind of modest, like they have to be modest always. Unlike the male cricketers who have to be epitome of aggressiveness and they need to play the cricket aggressively, women's cricketers have always been seen as they have to be respectful of the field, they have been playing to the norms and they cannot cross the line in any other way. One can remember the example of Harmanpreet Kaur when in 2021 in Bangladesh, when she kicked a stump. You can see that there have been two narratives of it. One, while it has been said that Harmanpreet Kaur has breached the code of conduct, and another idea was that being a girl, how can Harmanpreet react on the speed like that? As if it was done by any male cricketer, it is acceptable, and Harmanpreet being the a woman cricketer is not acceptable for that. So, in this regard, if you look at the Nike's ad that came out in 2020, where it has been always argued that if women's cricketers do anything aggressively, they have been termed out as the unfit for the sport. But at the same time, when male cricketers have done something aggressively, it's always has been just the heat of the moment they have done something aggressive, and that is not the characteristics. So. The women cricketers and women cricket have always been perceived as something they need to be taken care of as their character as well in the field. They have to carry themselves with gracefully. And the second thing was how women cricketers have been looked into, sexualized in public viewing. Like if you look at the Indian women's cricket side, the players like Smriti Mandhana or Harmanpreet Kaur, who is kind of a sellable person, quote-unquote sellable person, and who can be commercialized, have become the national crush day in and day out. But when players like Pooja Vastrakar or Kiran Navgire, who is kind of muscular, quote-unquote muscular, they have been often talks about in social media that their sex need to be tested, and if they are really a woman or not. So all these things we need to keep in focus when we talk about women sports culture, women's fan culture, but at the same time we need to also talk about then other aspects as well, that other aspect like nationalism as well. If you look at the India-Pakistan matches, the way it has been hyper-nationalized and masculinized in any of the ICC events between India and Pakistan, contrary to that when India women played in Pakistan women in various other formats, there have been the air of friendshipness always there belonged. We can in 2020 in 2023 World Cup, One Day World Cup, when India played Pakistan, we have always came across the photo that when Indian cricketers were playing with Fatima, who is the daughter of Bisma Maruf, the Pakistan captain. So rather than being an aggressive kind of atmosphere, there always prevailed a friendly atmosphere when India women played Pakistan women. Even in 2016, when it was said by the ICC that India need to play Pakistan for their qualification for the 2017 World Cup, BCCI categorically denied that appeal, and then when India was ruled out and forced to play a qualifier, it was said that the ICC has made Indian women's cricket a victim, which rather than BCCI itself made their women's cricket team a victim. Had it been the men's cricket team was not, Indian men's cricket team and Pakistan men's cricket team has been forced to play a bilateral series, and it's a qualification spot for the World Cup was in stake, I doubt if BCCI would have taken the same step or not. At the same time, when India men's cricket team in 2014 and even in 2021, when Indian men's cricket team has repeatedly lost test match series in England, it was also at the same time on those period Indian women's cricket team was also traveling with them. And in 2014, one of the article came out where it says that India women's cricket team has saved the reputation of Indian nation. It was the first time one of those articles came which said that the Indian women's cricket team have saved the Indian's face. Otherwise, it was always have been that women always constituted the nation, but always belonged to the nation, but they didn't even constitute the nation, as Yuval Noah has pointed out. Apart from that thing, it was also that how women's cricketers have been perceived in the reality shows as well. If you can remember that in Kapil Sharma's shows, all the women cricketers have been asked that rather than their sporting career activities, they have been asked about their career, their marriage, and their family as well. So women's cricketers have always been shown in this light as well. Apart from that, the careless attitude of the mainstream media while reporting for the women's sports have been another reason, one of the aspects of fan culture. Like if you look at these first three photographs, the first was published in one of the renowned Bengali newspaper, which in the body of the article changed the player names in a horrible way and put one player's name in another way, and they completely mismanaged or there was been editorial errors while writing about who is team won and who is team not. In the second photograph, it says that Mithali Raj has scored 2,000 international runs. Well, it is the correct information would be Mithali Raj has scored 10,000 international runs. And the second, another funny thing was, I will just conclude. And the second was the third photograph was another hilarious one. One of my friend painted a photo of Mithali and Jhulan on a train ticket, and one of the Bengali famous news portal, they took the photograph and said that the Indian Railway has published a ticket dedicated to Jhulan and Mithali. So all these stuffs were all this false information was one of the main reason that women's cricket is faced in recent times. And I would like to conclude another thing that it's always been said that the women's cricket is not profitable and it's not been very much benefit. It will not benefit women's cricket because it is not marketable. And you can see the first in the first photograph it says that women's cricket is dull and unprofitable, and then the second section, the women's Premier League valuation is hit almost $150 million, and how the amount of money they have been infused in buying the teams and broadcasting also proves the point that women's cricket has been gradually becoming much more profitable. Thank you.
Today, I'm very happy, very glad to be chairing this session. As we have young players now, so I can imagine the time when, well, it's difficult to, I guess, imagine, but I was an athlete at some point in my life, and I was not raised in Kolkata, but I remember coming from the school with the school team to come to the Salt Lake Stadium for our state tournaments, and it was an amazing feeling to be coming from a small town and representing your school and all that. So today I believe we would actually get to hear her story, and young students. Yeah, so glory days, and of course it must be quite challenging in many aspects. So we would like to hear about that. So first I'll start with Drikpriya, if that's okay. How has been your journey?
Just introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Drikpriya Paul.
That's okay. Just speak.
I'm Drikpriya Paul. I'm from the Department of Electrical Engineering, first year. I'm a national sports medalist in rowing. So actually, I wasn't a rower when I began. When I was 3, I was in love with Ninja Hattori. So yeah, that's a very dumb story to begin with. But I started my career with karate. So I was very naive and I wanted to be Ninja Hattori. So the first thing I could think about is getting into martial arts. So when I was 3, I started with karate. So I was the youngest one there, so I was adored by everybody. So after that, after I got a feel for karate, I was really interested in sports. So I joined a lot of sports, like I was into gymnastics. Then I did swim, but later on it did not play out very well. So I was into skating, gymnastics. I did nationals in gymnastics too. And I did a bit of football and cricket here and there. I was in the school teams. I was like running 100-meter dashes for my school. Oh, sorry. So in my school, everybody knew I was into sports. So my school pushed me to sports because my school was really into sports. Like we have a whole building dedicated to sports.
Where
so
was that? Where was that?
I'm from Mahadevi Birla World Academy.
Okay.
So sports is really valued there. Like the last year of my studies, I got a sports scholarship from my school itself. So I got into rowing through my school. There is this so Bengal Rowing Club hosts a summer regatta for all the students. And everybody was like young enough, so they did send an invitation to my school. And I was obviously one of the first choices, but my school, like the place where we used to row, and my home is it was a 1-hour drive. So my school did not think I would continue, but I really fell for the sports. So every morning I used to go 1-hour drive. So I used to wake up at 4 because my reporting time was 5, and after that, after my rowing, I used to go to school, come back, study and sleep. And I had a very bad social life. Social life is very bad when you are into sports and studying. And after class 11, I took up science, which was very hard. So sports, studying, and then going home and sleeping, that's all I did. So my friends were like, we are never getting time with you. You are always going around here and there, because there are a lot of competitions in rowing which are taking part not in West Bengal, because we don't really have a good course here. So generally our rowing competitions are for 2-kilometer races, but we only have 950 meters, which is not even a kilometer. So yeah, I do travel a lot, but unfortunately that travel isn't fun because I'm either sad that I did not get the gold medal, or I'm just very bummed that did not turn out well, because nobody in sports is really happy with what they're doing. So that's there. But apparently, according to my friends, I do travel a lot and I have a lot of fun in my life. Nice. Apart from that, my school really supported me. They gave me notes. The teachers helped me through everything. They provided me with everything that I required. I was out of my school for 2 months because I went to the national camp. The national camp is kind of depressing because you go there, you have 3 sessions a day. You need to wash your own clothes, you need to clean your own room. There are like 3 people in one room, which is not bad if you are healthy enough to take care of yourself, which we weren't. Because 3 adults in a single room who are all tired and smelly and sweaty, and we were even given targets for eating fruits. We were like given a bunch of fruits, and we were said ki you need to finish it by the end of the week. else you'll get some punishment or something. But thank God we did finish it, and we did throw out a few. But don't tell it.
Thank you so much for sharing your take. Very interesting points. I would like to get back to you again in a bit. But before that, let's travel to American football with Tejasweeta, and please share your journey with us.
A very good afternoon to everyone present here today for the short seminar organized. And firstly, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Tejasweeta Pradhan, and I'm from the Department of Comparative Literature. And my sport is American football, like ma'am said. And I've been playing American football since 2018. I've always been a sporty girl since school, very similar to what Dipka said. And I've always been into sports, be it basketball, hockey, football, badminton, table tennis, everything. But eventually when I came here to Jadavpur University, and I came across the sport American football back then in 2018, only the men's team were there. There was no girls team or women's team entirely. And in fact, there was no women's championship all in all for American football. And back in 2018, we slowly established a women's team, first women's team in Jadavpur University for American football back then. And since then I've been rigorously going to the field. Today morning also I was there in the field, so I was not here earlier at the symposium. And that's how it has been for American football for me. And I've been representing the university since 2018. The first year when we represented our university for the American Football Championship, it was held in Chandigarh University back then. And it was crazy because we are just 5 foot, I'm 5'5", that's pretty short for girls. Not pretty short, but it's okay. And out there in Chandigarh University, they had players, like girls were like 6 foot, 6'2", and they were just pushing, they were like rolling us, and they were pushing, because American football as a sport is a very, it's like a contact game, so we are there on the field pushing each other, hitting each other. And in 2018 it was like an eye-opener for me, because American football as a sport, for me, it connected to me eventually, like physically, mentally, emotionally. I'm there on the field, everything. Every time I play this game or every time I pick that ball up, it's like I'm there, I'm just there in the field to play. And since 2018, the first match we ever played was against the Chandigarh University team of girls, and they were like 6 foot and on. And obviously we lost the game, first match, of course. We lost the game, everything, we were sad, and we came back. But when we came back from Chandigarh University, I feel like not just me, but my entire team of girls were very motivated to win the next time we go back to Chandigarh University. And that is what happened. The next year in 2019, when we went back to Chandigarh University, we did not win gold, but we secured second position as a women's team. For a novice team, that was a very big thing for us because we came second, we won all the other teams, and since then, since 2019, we've never failed to secure the top 3 positions in the All India Inter-University Women's Championship for the flag team. And we have men's team too, but our men's team, rather than our men's team, our women team for the American football team has been doing great stuff. And about the hurdles and all in the university championship and all, mainly we face like problems such as ticket management usually, since we have a very huge team. So like American football is not an individual team, like you don't just get 1 or 2 players. We have like a set team of 16 as an entirety. We are 16 players, plus including the substitute and all, we'll range up to 18 team members. And usually like Department of Physical Education tries to book our tickets as soon as possible, but it's very impossible to like get confirmed booked tickets for each and everyone who's going to play. And if there are 15 of us are going to play for the championship or the tournament, we usually have 8 confirmed tickets. So we are usually either sharing beds like when we are traveling via train and all, we are either sharing or we are either sleeping on someone else's bag, like just laying down, crouched. We all we need to do is just reach the venue for us. And after reaching and all, there's not much of a complicated, like any complications or such. It's just that while traveling, since we are a very huge team, that's the biggest problem that we usually face as a team. And last year too, last year was the biggest shock that we received. Like, we usually practice almost each and every day. The entire team comes to the field and we are practicing. And last year, the dates for the AIU, All India University, were not set. Like, they did not give like proper dates, like when we were about to have our championship. And we went, and it was organized in Bangalore. And like, to confirm tickets to Bangalore from Kolkata was almost impossible last year. And the university, like the physical education department, so everyone out there, they were trying their best to like confirm tickets from one broker to the other. They were trying to catch hold of people who could like confirm their tickets and all, but still it was impossible. Then responsible for the tickets and all. Then we met one sir, and he helped us. He said like, don't worry, we'll try our best to give you as much seat as we can. And again the next day, early in the morning, we woke up. Then we went to the Southern Railway headquarters. That is like, we have to go all the way from Khidirpur docks to the end part, and we went there and we met sir, and he said like, all I can do is like give you 8 tickets. There were 13 of us in the entire team, and he told us that he'd confirm 8 tickets, and we were more than happy, more than grateful for that, because we actually had a hope that we would go and play, because we had been practicing for almost 5 to 6 months rigorously, and it would be a waste of time. So eventually, last year too, we went back to the field. We played there in Bangalore, and again we won second place. We came in second place, and then we came back happily. That's it. That's it till the date.
Thank you so much, Tejasweeta. So yeah, it's great to have you here. And next, let us ask Dyuti about her interest, how you blossomed, and how what has been your journey like.
So I'm Dyuti Ghosh, and I have completed my MPhil from the Department of Philosophy, Jadavpur University. So firstly, I'm not from Kolkata. I'm from Shantiniketan, and there, since my very childhood, and I have been brought up in a tribal village, in a Santhali village. So there I have always seen that I have always grown up playing sport. I have always been a sporty person, like both of them said. But our only avenue was school sports. And in school sports, we could see a distinction between the male sports event and the female sports event. Like, there was a 100-meter run for both male and female, but then after that for the women,
I'm so sorry. I'm extremely sorry. Okay. So the problem. I did not mean to laugh, but I'm sorry. Anyway, so there was a distinction between the like events that were made for men and the events that were made for women. So that was the first time I figured out that this is not right. And then while growing up, I heard people telling my father and everybody around that, Dyuti is growing up like a boy. Like, she goes to the field, she is playing, she is fighting, she is going hands down with the male,
the friends. So it was strange growing up in a small town. But then my parents were very supportive, and I have my brother here also. He has been always very supportive about, my family. I was blessed to have that family, but everyone does not have that. I was blessed to have that family who did give me a constant support for that. But then there was Sai that was established in Shantiniketan at a very later period. But in Sai also, there were opportunities for the male players. And to the extent that there were places for practicing table tennis, there were places for practicing cricket. But this alternative, this is not an alternative now, like shooting. But I did not know, or I did not understand that shooting can be taken up as a sport until I came to Kolkata. I always knew that the NCC people and the military and these people are allowed to go for that sport, and we cannot. But then as Drikpriya was saying, that she always wanted to be Ninja Hattori. So I always wanted to be someone from the sci-fi movies. I wanted to be someone who would be in an action film and go through those fighting sequences. But that is not possible without a gun. Everyone has a good ending with perfect shots. So I did not take that much seriously. But I had been doing good in sprints and other sports. Then I came to Kolkata, and thankfully I have a group of friends who are all male, and they I play hands-on cricket with them every evening in the university ground. But strangely, what in Jadavpur University also I have seen, that women does not play sport for recreational purpose alone. It's very, very less. The representations like that are very less. Like maybe there are representations in university games, maybe there are representations in other spheres, but just for playing, just for the sake of playing, people do not go to play. It is always, we see after 5 o'clock, if we go or in the evening when we look at the field, we see men or everyone playing football or cricket, but there are very, very, very few women representations out there. So this is what was that did strike me also. And one very interesting thing I thought of saying that I think Sima mentioned it also, that till one point the women are quote unquote allowed to play, but when the gendering starts, the so-called gendering starts, it is always said that now you are to conserve your body, now you are to preserve your body. You have your body for doing something else, some roles that are set for you. So you should conserve it for that. And if you do not fit in that conception, then you are the other. You are not like everybody. So you face a lot of criticisms, you face a lot of hindrances, but in the recent times, women have been fighting back. And that is what inspires me every day, at every moment. And one more thing was about the job opportunities. If you look that there's one sector which focuses on government jobs, and the other, there is one company called Decathlon. So they are, I think, so the market is bringing a kind of liberalization in the presentation of sports. So this particular company, they hire or they employ specifically sportsperson who are meant to sell certain goods to the customers, and they also have certain amounts of goals set for them that they have to meet that goal. So they start with an aspiration that yes, this is a field where I can prosper. But what are they doing at the end of the day? They are loading and unloading the trucks, they are stacking them up, and they are tired, they are overworking, and ultimately they are losing their own ground. They are losing what they had started it for. So all these things I think should be addressed a little more. But I hope for a better future. And today has been a very, very nice day. I did not think that I would ever come to speak about myself one day. Because, starting at a very late age in shooting especially, I did not think I could shine. But one entrance I was saying that the infrastructural thing as I was speaking, I'll finish after this, that you have to put on a armor kind of a thing when you play shooting. So I went for the state championship in Asansol for 2 consecutive years. Now this is not the story of this year, this is the one. This year I finally managed to secure a silver medal, but before that when I went, so there is a huge array of lanes, then everybody is standing there and participating, and they do not have different slots for women and men. That is all fine, that's very good actually, but the ACs, they do not work, and it happens in the month of July when you sweat and you have a time slot of 1 hour where you have to take 40 shots, 40 consecutive shots. And this sweat, it makes you dehydrated and it makes you faint. And so I fainted, obviously. Me being a very frail girl, in that way I fainted. But then I again stood up, my teammates were great. They encouraged me, and yes, that year also I secured 20th position in the women all over state, but it was not that great. But I learned how to come back. I learned how to fight back, how to not lose hope. And with that hope, I would like to end today's talk.
Thank you so much to the on. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, very interesting points. I'm very happy, in fact, that you also talked about your experience at Jadavpur and what it has been the scenario if we go early in the morning in the grounds or even look at in the evening spaces, how it is used for sports or otherwise. So I know there are much more complexities involved. I'll not get into that. But unfortunately, it is true that we do not harbor as much as physical activity for women that we would like to see around on campus. So I hope we will all overcome with this difficulty, and we'll have, even like when I was part of the sports, still am. So, environment here at Jadavpur, I felt it very saddened me in a way that we couldn't support our students enough with trainers for the sports that our students are, getting medals, and we are so proud of that. But what have we actually done to support them to get the medals? So, should we feel proud about it? So, I think these are questions that, difficult questions, and does not have a singular answer to it at all. But I'm really glad that we have this platform today, and like Dyuti also said, that talking about your sports, talking about your passion, without the support of the family from a very young age, it's very difficult to be where you are now, right? And not only family, students, friends, teachers, and a whole world to support you to be where you are. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So, without any further ado, I would like to ask questions, encouragements, anything that you would like to know from our champions today.
I think there is some correction. Hello, Tejasweeta. It's a sports board, not the sports board. Yeah, actually the university sports is done and managed by the Department of Physical Education. First of all, what happened to that you do not manage the tickets. It's a sports board. Okay. whoever wants to ask. Yeah. Hey, please go.
Thank you. That was absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. And I wondered, when you were growing up, were there any aspirational athletes in the media that you could look up to and think, because we find it's just coming through in the UK, in football particularly, now that our team was successful. The younger football players are now saying they want to be like female football players, and they're naming them rather than the traditional sort of male personalities in football. Have you found that at all when you were growing up? Was there anyone that you could look up to and aspire and see had made that journey?
In my case, as I practiced, as I was at the beginning, I used to go for 100 meters run and all these things. So, there's, as I was telling, that there is one thing that everybody spoke of PT Usha. I wanted to, one day I can break the record of PT Usha. I know this is bizarre, but, it was that was a huge, huge moment of fandom. It was like, I wanted to be her. And then later, there was Sania Mirza. She, she broke so many norms, and she could manage to captivate us for almost over a decade. So it was great looking up to them.
So I've also played nationals in gymnastics. So Deepa Karmakar, so before I actually thought of her, I wasn't into gymnastics. She was who actually brought me into gymnastics, but she did artistic gymnastics and I was a rhythmic gymnast. But after I saw her, she was the one person who I looked up to, and that's how I went to nationals actually. I represented my school in nationals, and it was a great experience. And that showed me that I could actually do a lot more than what I'm capable of. So maybe just trying something new can bring up a lot of things.
For me, personally, when I was very small, I found out that my mother used to do rock climbing, and since I was in class 4 to 5, I was really into rock climbing. So I used to go to HMI, Mountaineering Institute up there in Darjeeling, and I used to climb the artificial walls and all, in class 5 and all. And for me, my mother was my inspiration, I think so, for me, because I used to go through her albums, and she used to be up on the icicle and all like that. After seeing those pictures and all, I used to be very fascinated. And back then I wanted to, I will climb Mount Everest one day, I think.
You still can.
Have you any experience regarding school national? Oh, sorry. Have you any experience regarding school national team? Have you any representation in favor of Bengal?
Yeah, I came for my trials in Sai, but it was very difficult for me to come all the way from Darjeeling to Sai. First we played districts, then we won, we used to go for the trials in the state nationals and all in Sai. They used to host it, and after that I played in Ranchi with West Bengal team, but it was under 16. I used to be hockey back then.
I played 100 and 200
Oh.
instance. Long time ago.
So you got the right person to change.
Of course you do. What a wonderful panel. And thank you very much for sharing your stories, all of you. I have a comment, and also I wouldn't call it a question, it's more of curiosity. And the comment is basically this, that across all three of your sets of stories, there were elements of what we have and elements of what we do not have. There are elements of where we find support and elements where we are challenged and we face hurdles and how we surmount these hurdles. And each of these is a unique and distinctive experience. But underlying all of this, what I heard, and the word I heard over and over again, was hope. Now, hope can be two things. There's one kind of hope which is that I hope this will turn out, and that is a very passive kind of hope. But there is another kind of hope And there was a wise man who once wrote a book called The Audacity of Hope. Hope can be a very active thing. And what I heard in your stories was an active hope. And that is something that is part of my response, and I want to share that response with you. The curiosity question is, now that you have, and this is an American football question, now that you have pioneered something, do you see that there is interest amongst students coming and joining 2022, 2023 entrants, 2024 entrants, joining with sufficient interest to carry it on? Because you have actually started something which, if it has the right momentum and the right support, it will continue.
Of course, that's why we've been winning medals since 2019. I feel that we see, we share the same enthusiasm and the grace with which we come to the field. It's not just like, oh, I need to wake up and I need to go and work out and play and train. It's not like that. Everyone is as enthusiastic as I am, or as my juniors were, and my seniors were. And I feel like that's how we work as a team. There's like a active, like you said, sir, there's an active hope, not just hope, but it's a driving dedication and motivation for the entire team to think in the same way and have a vision to get gold. And now there's a vision of gold, not just silver.
Go for it.
Anyone else has a question?
আগের সেশনে বলেছি বাংলা হিন্দি যে কোনো বিষয় যে কোনো ভাষায় প্রশ্ন করতে পারো প্লিজ।
Hello. So it was glad to hear all three of your stories. So I just wanted to know, at any point, have you ever felt that because the sports schedule is very hectic, because we have to wake up in the morning, then again practices, then again classes, as we all are students here, then again evening practices, as we are from the Department of Physical Education, we follow that schedule daily, on a daily basis. You all must know that. So I just wanted to know, at any point of time, have you ever felt that it is just a boredom or a baggage in our back, or have you ever always observed it as an opportunity that we can get something from this? Or have you ever, because I don't know where are all three of you from, but I suppose, have you ever tried to convince the students or the juniors of your areas to get into sports or to be a part of the sports, something like that?
So actually it is the other way around. For me, as I have been into research and purely academics for like 7 years now, so there I have felt a point of relief when I go and play, when I can be entirely myself, when my performances give me joy. And yes, we have been encouraging people. I think both of them will also say about this, that yeah, we say that it is a great opportunity for your mind, for your body, and for your entire development. You always do not have to secure medals, but you need to find the joy in the play. You need to find the joy in the game. And the relevance of it is not only about how much you can bring back home. It is how much you can be, how much you can grow as a person, I think.
Yeah, so I do actually want other people to play because it makes you happy. Sports makes you happy. It relieves you, but sometimes there's a barrier, because for me, I have always been winning medals, but right now I'm in a place where I'm thinking about, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? But the thing is, if I actually change my mindset, I would actually understand how much I actually enjoy the thing I'm doing, in place of just focusing on what I'm not able to do and I focus on what I actually can do. That change of mindset actually relieves you. So right now I'm working on it, to be honest, because being in competitive sports from such a young age has programmed me into thinking that the value in me is the number of medals I have won. But to be honest, I wasn't the happiest when I won the medals, but I was the happiest when I gave my all in the practice. So it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. It's a very cliche line to say, but it's actually true. That's about it.
Burden that families are saying that there is no chance of getting एक का हो गया दूसरे का क्या होगा सबका थोड़ी होता है. Have you faced this kind of lines or similar?
Specifically, I think in the rural Bengal, at least I can say it's a big thing that you address. That it's not always the case that the family is supportive of. As Sima was saying herself, that you always face this thing that how can you like. Till one age it's okay, but after that we cannot allow them. It is not acceptable for a woman to take sports as their career. It is quite okay for a man. It's okay. They have like the women, they should do the other responsibilities. And when you shine from a certain sector, I think there is means I don't know whether I have been able to be role model of anybody. But if I were to speak from that way, means that position, I would always say that. Yes, there is a burden, but but you can be the change. You can at least initiate it.
I'm thankful, of course, to Professor Amitabh Datto, the Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor of Jadavpur University, who inaugurated the seminar and has been very encouraging. Yes.
Okay. Professor Amitabh Datto, our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, who encouraged us all through, and Dr. Devanjan Chakraborty, who came here in the morning session, the inaugural session, Director, British Council, East and Northeast India. We are really grateful to the Director of School of Media, Communication, Culture. Well, I mean, it's maybe not fair to thank the host, but I'm kind of thanking the school and the director on behalf of the project here. So for hosting this, and also likewise Director of School of Women's Studies, Jadavpur University, Professor Tejasweeta Chakraborty. A special thanks to Dr. Ashish Pal, Head, Department of Physical Education, Jadavpur University. But not only the head of the department, but also the department as a whole and all our colleagues there, and all the students from Physical Education Department who have come and attended this. I would say that please applaud yourselves for this, and let us also applaud that you have come in large numbers. We are so happy that you have not only attended, but you have also actively participated, asked questions, and made your comments and observations. Thank you. And Ashish particularly has been with me right from the beginning. We have been planning this together. And of course, Dr. Poishni Mitro, who actually made 2 appearances today. One in the morning session physically, and now, virtually, Director and Trustee, Center for Sports and Human Rights. And of course, gratitude from the depth of our hearts to our delegates from the Bajpai University, who are our partners in this project, Dr. Suvam Ghosh and Lizzie Powell and Peter Smith. Really thankful to you that you came all the way from UK and participated. But this is not only a thanks for today's symposium, but generally in the project, you have been really sort of, very encouraging and enterprising. Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Shuman, for everything. And we have a journey ahead, so we will definitely make it successful. And Dr. Shubhranshu Roy, who made this wonderful presentation on the challenges faced by women sports person in rural West Bengal, Professor Nilanjana Gupta, who chaired that session. Then let me also thank the other speakers, Ms.Sima Naskar and Suvam Maiti, and that session was chaired by Professor Sanjib Mridha. Thank you. And we had one session in which our
sportspersons from the university participated. Drikpriya Paul, Tejasweeta Pradhan, and Dyuti Ghosh. A special thanks to Dyuti Ghosh, who is also assisting the project, who is the project fellow of this project. Thank you, Dyuti, and to Dr. Rahi Soren, who chaired that particular session. And I also want to thank the people from the administration who helped us. Especially Mr. Dutiman Chakrabarti of the research section, whom I'm constantly in touch with, administering the administrative aspects of the project. Our finance officer, Mr. Devashish Pal, and in his office, Mr. Uttam Mondal, particularly. I have had I've been very fortunate to have a number of friends, who are research scholars in this university. Some of them actually have their PhDs already. Dr. Ghosh, who has designed the wonderful standing that you see outside, the poster and the banner. Tiash Bashu, who's sitting there and helping me in all kinds of technological aspects. We have the office assistant, very own Shundariti, who has helped us all through, and my own PhD scholar, Shuddhan Chattopadhyay, then Mithun Majumdar and Anisul Haq. They have all played very important roles in organizing this particular symposium. A big round of applause for all of them, please. Thank you very much. So this brings us to the close of the end of today's session. There will be many more. Please watch the space.
And we should also thank Professor Abhijit Rai for organizing this.
Okay. Anyway, it's been a wonderful experience, organizing this. But anyway, there are many other things that we plan to do together. It seems Suvam has the last word. So, he wanted to say something.
But I usually like having the last word. It's a bad habit. No, I just wanted to say a massive thank you from, on behalf of Lizzie, Pete, and myself. It's been a wonderful day. It has been a very enriching day. It has been a day which is eye-opening, I think, in many ways. And I am deeply grateful to teachers, scholars, and students across the university for having sort of made this day what it is. This is the first of a number of different things that will be part of this project. There will be an event in Bath in which, once again, we will look forward to some further conversations. But for this and everything else that's been happening over these last couple of days, thank you.